And welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, you have come to the right place. We are here for you. We welcome your phone calls on the Bright Side. We love hearing from you. 844-236-6010. We can help you understand your health challenge, how to use nutritional supplements to help deal with it, or how to help you wean yourself off your meds if that's what you so desire. And I've always said, if you're on a long-term chronic medication, a medication that's being dispensed to you for a chronic long-term condition, your number one health challenge should be to figure out how to wean yourself off that medication. We can help you do that. 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase any longevity products, excuse me, call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470, or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products off the website. You can also purchase them by calling 866-735-2470 and ask about joining the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself, be an entrepreneur, help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program, and be part of a $100 billion business, the healthcare business, or the supplement business, and the alternative health business. It's a huge business. Lots of people still, to this day, lots of people still don't know about the options they have, nutritional options, alternative health options that they have, dietary options, digestive options, to medical strategies, to the medical model. We're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. If you're interested in joining the Brightside Ben team, if you want to be part of the longevity business, call 866-735-2470 or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Don't forget to take a look at our shopping site, truthnourishment.com. Got various products up at truthnourishment.com. Also, our blog is up at truthnourishment.com, and you can also click on to get the radio show at truthnourishment.com. We're constantly adding products. We've got probiotics up, digestive enzymes, our bergamot products, various herbal tinctures, as well as cocoa powder and protein powders and green superfood powders and hemp products. Lots of good stuff on truthnourishment.com. We're going to be adding more stuff as the days and weeks go by. And if you have a product that you'd like to get on our website, let us know. You can send an email to ben@ksco.com. ben@ksco.com. Let me know what you'd like to get on our website, and we can talk to you about that. Truthnourishment.com. Also, please check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. We got a special running, the Perfect Pair. If you enter Perfect Pair in the discount code box, you'll get a free Biomimetic Mineral Mist. When you order a mist and a Truth Transdermal C Serum, you'll get a free mist. Put Perfect Pair in the discount code box, and you'll save $39. Get a $39 freebie. That's at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, water, emulsifiers, silicone, oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, welcome back to the bright side. Great to have you with us. We're talking about, we're talking about a few things. We're talking about the tyranny of the diagnosis, what I call the tyranny of the diagnosis. I picked fibromyalgia as a poster child for this, the tyranny of the diagnosis. I always got a kick out of the nomenclature fibromyalgia. It seems iconic to me when it comes to the idea that all we're doing when we get a diagnosis is describing what's happening in our body. Fibromyalgia sounds like a disease, and it's pretty much assumed to be a dis-ease. It's not a dis-ease. It's a description. We got to get that through our heads, that our diagnoses describe things. You can't treat a description. That's the problem with that. That's the key flaw in the medical model. Is we're trying to treat words. We're trying to treat descriptions. Fibromyalgia is a diagnosis that describes a condition. It describes what's happening. It describes something in the body. It describes a chronic head-to-toe pain. Head-to-toe pain. Sometimes you get it with eczema. It's a woman's issue, which tells you something right away. Whenever you have a condition that affects mostly women, you're dealing with an estrogen issue likely. Estrogen, everybody's heard of estrogen, but we just assume estrogen is a female hormone. Estrogen is important for keeping you young and keeping your skin nice. There's estrogen creams people use. There's estrogen in creams or estrogenic kinds of substances in wrinkle creams because estrogen has a reputation for being a youth substance. Started in the early 1960s, kind of a drug company scandal or scam, the idea that you can be estrogenized back to youth. There's a book that came out in the early 1960s called Forever Young, and in that book a doctor talked about how wonderful estrogen was. He didn't know, I don't think he knew anyway, that estrogen is associated with inflammation and cancer and general health misery. Not so much estrogen, but the metabolites, the breakdown products of estrogen. In any case, fibromyalgia can be considered to be an estrogenic issue. And whenever you're dealing with an estrogenic issue, you want to first think about fats and foods. Fats, as in fat digestion, fats as in fat processing, and foods that contain the wrong kinds of fats, trans fats, burnt fats, hydrogenated fats, the kind of fats most of us eat. French fry fats, deep fried fats, fats that come in bottles that are clear, processed fats. All the oil that's in the grocery store in the clear bottles, those are all processed fats, and if you're dealing with fibromyalgia or any health challenge, it's probably a good idea to stay away from them. Fibromyalgia and estrogenic issues in general should be considered number one, fat processing issues, and number two, fat intake issues. You know, when I say fat intake, I mean keeping the bad stuff out and keeping the good stuff in. The good stuff, of course, is your ultimate EFAs. If you're dealing with an estrogenic health challenge, get on your ultimate EFAs. Essential fatty acids act like good estrogen. They're anti-inflammatory, and they're inflammatory. They're part of the healing process. When we hear about inflammation, we always think about bad stuff, but you can't heal without inflammation. It's excessive inflammation. That's the problem. If you have fibromyalgia, if you have cysts or fibroids or endometriosis or polycystic ovarian syndrome or any autoimmune condition, the chances are, or hypothyroidism, the chances are pretty good you're not processing estrogen correctly. Lots of strategies for that. We'll talk about that here in a minute or sometime later today or tomorrow. The bottom line here is fibromyalgia, a miserable health challenge, nothing the medical model can do for it. Like most chronic degenerative disease, the vast majority of the problems confronted by doctors and doctor medicine, the medical model and medication and everything in the doctor's magical bag of tricks is completely useless and helpless, except to hide symptoms. Sometimes you want to take care of the pain. I understand that. But let's try addressing the problem. Doctor can't address the problem. They can hide the pain, and that's why they'll tell you there's no cure for fibromyalgia, a diagnosis that affects 10 million people. Polymyalgia, which is a separate diagnosis, but essentially the same thing, affects another 3 to 4 million people. And guess what? Fibromyalgia, polymyalgia, chronic pain from head to toe, you're always going to be dealing with the same problem, toxic, dirty blood. Toxic, dirty blood can cause problems with estrogen because things are clogged up in the body, and it can be the cause of estrogen because estrogen can be a clogging factor. It goes both ways. Problems processing fats and estrogen can lead to dirty blood, and dirty blood can make the matter worse. So not only does it go both ways, but it's like a circle, a downward spiral. They call it rheumatic disease. You've probably heard the term rheumatic fever or rheumatic arthritis. Rheumatic diseases are generally diseases. They call them diseases that involve the connective tissue, but rheuma means blood, or rheuma means circulation. Actually, rheuma means to flow. I call it toxemia. I call it dirty blood. Medicine calls it rheumatic disease. I am Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You can also find all the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Or you can call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. If you want more information or you want to talk to a real-life person, ask about joining the Brightside Ben team. Love to have you on my team. We can help you build your business. You can help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. If you want to be part of the multi-billion-dollar, $100 billion healthcare business, or if you've noticed that nutritional supplementation has helped you in your life, this is a perfect way to pay it forward. Help spread the word about how powerful and important a good nutritional supplement program can be. Call 866-735-2470 for more info, or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com for more information. Also, check out truthnourishment.com for various shopping products, tinctures and powders, and our Bergamet products. I know a bunch of you guys were asking about Bergamet, which was off the market for a little bit. Bergamet is great for folks who are dealing with metabolic syndrome. If you really want to lower your blood pressure, lower your blood sugar, Bergamet, our Truth Bergamet products are up at truthnourishment.com. Also have a Bergamet Ultimate Femme product now for female health issues, as well as a natural menopause and hormonal support supplement. Truthnourishment.com. Also, don't forget to take a look at truthtreatments.com for the best skincare products you'll ever see, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds. What I discovered is that healing wounds is the same mechanism as anti-aging and moisturizing and skin softening, and that's why all our Truth treatments, which are initially born as wound healing products, make the best anti-aging products you'll ever use. You can also use them, of course, on wounds and cuts and scrapes, and we've got some awesome before and afters, especially our omega-6 healing cream. They're all up at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, oil. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth treatments. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, so we've been talking about, I call it the tyranny of the diagnosis. This is the idea that we are our diagnosis. Doctors love to diagnose. And you know what? From a historical perspective, diagnosis played a very important part in the evolution of medicine. If you were to go to a doctor in the 1600s or 1500s or in the Dark Ages, they would tell you that all diseases were caused by little elves that shot arrows at you, or the number 9, or just bizarre miasmas floating in the air, bad winds floating in the air. Nobody really knew what disease was. They didn't know that arthritis and pain diseases and inflammatory diseases and blood sugar problems, they didn't know that all of these were part of how we live our lives. Dis-ease involves life choices. That's the most powerful idea, but we get the idea that we just get sick. It just happens. It's because we don't see the body breaking down as it's breaking down. The body breaks down very slowly, and the symptoms of bodily breakdown are very, very subtle, invisible at first. Invisible at first, then very, very subtle, then less subtle, then less subtle, and less subtle, and then it all of a sudden screams, and we say, oh my God, I got fibromyalgia. Or the doctor says, you have fibromyalgia. They give us a diagnosis. Rheuma, as in rheumatic disease, doctors will tell you it's connective tissue disease or muscle disease, like rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatic fever. These are all diseases that affect not connective tissue as much as the blood. Yeah, the connective tissue is involved secondarily, but it starts off in the blood, and that's not just an etymological semantic point. It's important because we have control over our blood. That's so important. From a reversal standpoint, we have control over what gets into our blood. You want to get better? Deal with your blood. Don't worry about your diagnosis. It's irrelevant. In fact, if you want to live a long life, even if you're not sick, keep your blood clean. This is why people who pay attention to what they eat, whether it's the Mediterranean diet or whether it's intermittent fasting or whether it's ketogenic or whether it's low insulin, low blood sugar, no matter what the diet is, if it's people are paying attention, close attention to what they're eating and eating very carefully and eating less, they get better. They live longer. Why? Because that's how things get into the blood. That's why I talk about the digestive system and food so much. If you have an estrogen issue, you got a blood issue, you got a food issue. You don't have to worry about your diagnosis. The Harvard historian Professor Charles Rosenberg wrote a famous article, I forgot what the journal was, but he wrote about 15 years ago, called The Tyranny of the Diagnosis. Now, I've been calling it the tyranny of the diagnosis since I was in pharmacy school, so I was really surprised and pleased to see this article when it came out in 2002, 16 years ago or 15 years ago. Can't believe 2002 was 15 years ago, but yes, it was. The tyranny of the diagnosis, Dr. Rosenberg, Professor Rosenberg, makes the point, which I've been talking about for many, many years, that we make assumptions about the diagnostic process that are never questioned. We actually like getting a diagnosis because it helps us understand or explains why we're sick. It takes responsibility in a way it takes our responsibility away from the process. We get diagnosed and that's it. We're sick. Now it's in the doctor's hands. You get a diagnosis, now it's in the doctor's hands. You get a special drug or special drugs. You get a special protocol. You get special processes. You may even go see a specialist. You get a t-shirt and a hat, and all of a sudden you are a diabetic. You have ALS, and you can race for the cure. You can pour ice water on your head for the cure. Now they want a cure for Alzheimer's. And Donald Trump and Joe Biden are telling us we're going to have a cure for cancer. You don't cure disease, period. There's no cure for Alzheimer's. There's never going to be a cure for Alzheimer's. There's no cure for cancer. There's never going to be a cure for cancer because diseases are processes. You can't cure a process. You can reverse a process, but you can't cure it. Dr. Rosenberg in his article says that the doctor-patient interactive process, this whole idea where you go to the doctor, you get interviewed, he gives you a diagnosis. We just assume that that's the way medicine is. It's part of the medical scenery. This is what Dr. Rosenberg says. He says this diagnostic interviewing and the naming process is part of the medical scenery, the way water is to a fish. Like a fish just doesn't know the water's there. That's his environment. And we as patients live in a medical environment like water lives in fish. We just assume that that's how you do it. You go to the doctor, you get interviewed, and he names your disease for you. And that's how you're going to get better. He goes to his book or looks it up on the internet, or maybe he knows what particular drugs go with what particular diagnosis. And the fact that this doesn't work, or the proof that this doesn't work, is hidden in plain sight. We've got diagnostics and diagnoses for every single health condition. Do you know there's 12,000 plus diagnoses. There's over 100 different diagnoses for arthritis. You can have 100 different ways you can have joint inflammation. That's the stupidity of this diagnostic model. How can you have 100 different types of arthritis? Because there's arthritis due to different things, but it doesn't matter. Because arthritis is just inflammation of the joints, and inflammation of the joints accrues from the blood, like everything else does. We have a disease and a diagnostic. We have a diagnosis for everything that could possibly happen, and we're still not only a disease-ridden culture, we're the most disease-ridden culture ever, or chronic degenerative disease affects nearly 40% of Americans. 130 plus million Americans have chronic degenerative diseases, and many of them, probably a third of them, or maybe a fourth or a fifth of them, have multiple, 3 or 4 chronic degenerative diseases, and we got names for all of them, and nobody's getting better. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We'll get your calls and more good health information on the bright side right after this. We are back on the bright side. Thanks for being here. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time. And you can check out our archive page at brightsideben.com. Have the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. You can join the team by clicking on the Join the Team link at the websites. We've got blog posts, news stories, as well as videos at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. Let's see. I've got open lines, 844-236-6010, by the way. This is from MedPage. Alzheimer's disease tied to altered liver function. No kidding. you don't just have Alzheimer's dementia. Nobody just has dementia. This is the reason why I say you can't really cure dementia. You're never going to cure dementia. It's because it's a metabolic biochemical condition. And when you have a metabolic biochemical condition, you have, by definition, a problem with the system, a blood problem. If you have a blood problem, you're going to have a liver problem. Focus on the blood. Focus on the digestive system. Remember, the liver affects, number one, the digestion, number two, blood sugar, and number three, toxicity. It's the main detox organ. Hello, triangle of disease. Starvation, suffocation, and toxification. Work on your liver. This is where bergamot comes in handy, by the way, but you don't need to have a supplement just to work on your liver. This idea of supplementing ourselves back to health, we gotta re-examine it. A supplement program is part of a lifestyle program. Supplementation is key and critical, but it's part of a lifestyle program. I got a letter today from a gal, Patricia. She says, "What should my mom take for stage 4 advanced kidney disease?" Now, the liver is a majorly perfused organ, as the blood, lots of blood in the liver, but the kidney's main role is to filter the blood. So you can't have kidney disease without associated blood disease, and just knowing what the organ does, what the kidney does, tells you this. So I get a letter like, what should my mom take for stage 4 advanced kidney disease? I see someone who doesn't understand how the body works. Not blaming anybody or being rude or mean to anybody. I'm just saying this is why we're so sick. This is why we don't understand how to address the real needs of our body, because we think, what supplements do I take for stage 4 kidney disease? You don't take supplements for stage 4 kidney disease. You clean the blood. Now, you can take supplements to help you clean the blood. That's definitely possible. N-acetylcysteine is a key player in cleansing the blood. MSM sulfur, key player in cleansing the blood. Ultimate EFAs, essential fatty acids, key player in cleansing the blood. Vitamin C, key player in cleansing the blood. Don't put stuff in the blood. First, that's another major thing. Don't put stuff in the blood through leaky gut. And just like, by the way, all disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood, pretty much all dirty blood is preceded by leaky gut. You hear that a lot now, leaky gut syndrome. It's almost like a cliche. It's jargon, leaky gut syndrome. First of all, a syndrome is a whole bunch of things that are associated with one thing. So leaky gut syndrome is blood pressure problems, pain problems, immune system problems, skin problems, all associated with leaky gut. Leaky gut syndrome. The problem is a leaky gut. This is why the whole notion of leaky gut has become kind of a thing, but it really is a description of what happens or what precedes all symptomology. Leaky gut precedes all symptomology. If you're sick, you don't need to be tested for leaky gut. Assume it. If you just assume leaky gut and start addressing leaky gut, you're going to get better. If you just assume that your health challenge is associated with leaky gut and start treating it that way, you are going to get better. Simple as that. Along the same lines, from the International Journal of Radiation Oncology and Biology and Physiology, from earlier this month, or early in July, actually. Fasting reduces intestinal radiotoxicity. How do you like that? Radiotoxicity is radiation toxicity. Well, it turns out that fasting will help reduce intestinal radiation toxicity. In other words, when they give radiation doses for cancer, intestinal toxicity usually ensues. Well, if you fast while you're getting your radiation, guess what? You're going to get better results. That's according to the International Journal of Radiation Oncology, Biology, and Physiology. Chemotherapy combined with radiotherapy is the most commonly used approach for treating pancreatic cancer. The use of curative doses of radiation is constrained due to the proximity of the pancreas to the intestine. The purpose of this study was to determine if fasting protects the intestine. In other words, they shoot the pancreas with radiation, but because it's so close to the intestine gets affected. Not good. But if you're fasting, the intestine gets affected less. Now, if you think about it, well, yeah, now the intestine is doing less work. That kind of makes sense. But yet we have this idea that if you're doing radiation or you're doing chemotherapy or you got cancer, you got to feed yourself. You don't want to lose weight. As it turns out, fasting and the ketogenic diet, which is a fasting diet, is one of the best things you can do if you're dealing with chemotherapy or radiotherapy for that matter. And by the way, the ketogenic diet is a fasting diet. That's the one thing, that's the problem most people miss when they do the ketogenic diet is they don't realize it's a fasting diet. It's a low-calorie diet. All right, from Axios, in the shadow of opioids, a sedative epidemic is taking root. So not only now are we dealing with an opioid crisis, soon we're going to be dealing, if we're not already dealing with it, actually, a benzodiazepine crisis, a benzodiazepine addiction crisis. Benzodiazepines, the classic benzodiazepines, Valium, Xanax is a benzodiazepine, Restoril, Dalmane, these sleep and sedatives. Most sleep and sedatives are in the benzo class. I'll just call them benzos or benzodiazepines. It turns out that 1/3 of older adults, and by the way, these kinds of drugs are especially toxic to older adults whose metabolism is, whose ability to drug metabolize is compromised. And by the way, benzodiazepines will suppress drug metabolism in the long run. In the long run, they're going to cost you nutrients like coenzyme Q10 and vitamin C, and that's going to suppress drug metabolism. So if you're on a benzo and other drugs, your other drugs are likely to become more toxic. 1/3 of older adults, benzodiazepine, Valium, and such prescriptions are for long durations. You're not supposed to be on benzodiazepines for more than 14 days. Did you know that? You guys who are taking Xanax or Valium, or know somebody who's taking Xanax or Valium, do you know that the manufacturers tell you you're not supposed to be on them for more than 14 days? Probably very few people knew that. Older adults are especially susceptible to the side effects of benzodiazepines: falls, fractures, accidents, dementia. Yes, Alzheimer's dementia is linked to use of benzodiazepines, chronic benzodiazepines, and of course, addictions. And guess what else? Benzodiazepines can make your diabetes worse. They can make your autoimmune disease worse. Why? They can make it more likely that you'll also suffer adverse reactions from other drugs. Why? Because you're not breaking down your drugs effectively. And also, by the way, opioid overdoses, in fact, 20% of opioid-related deaths involve benzodiazepines. Valium and Xanax and Dalmane, Restoril, and most sedatives are benzodiazepines. All right, if you want to wean yourself off your opioids or wean yourself off your benzos, there are some strategies you can use. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break and take your phone calls if we get any. Our lines are all open now at 844-236-6010. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll return right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We got lines open for you. Opioid dependence is obviously a serious problem. It occurs when a patient is both or either psychologically or physiologically addicted. You can be addicted both ways. If you're trying to get off of opioids, that can be a nightmare. What happens when you get off of opioids, your body basically freaks out. Remember, you got a sympathetic freak-out nervous system, fight, flight, or freak-out nervous system, and you have a calming nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is a freak-out nervous system, and the parasympathetic nervous system is your calming nervous system. They call it fight or flight, and they call it rest and digest. What happens when you're doing opioids, when you're taking opioids, you're activating this relaxation nervous system. And when you get off of it, your sympathetic stress nervous system goes crazy. Muscle cramping, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, hypertension, heart problems, temperature problems, delirium problems. All of these are associated with opioid withdrawal, and it can be absolutely miserable. Shakes, and chills. And that's why nobody wants to withdraw, and that's why to withdraw, you got to either be in a hospital if you've been on opioids for a while. And by the way, benzodiazepines the same way. Getting off of Valium is the same thing. Getting off of Xanax is the same thing. When you wean off of these opioids or benzodiazepines, your body freaks out basically. So what do you want to do? Well, you want to do the opposite. When you're trying to wean yourself off of opioids, expect that your body's going to freak out and start practicing parasympathetic nervous system activating strategies. The parasympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic versus sympathetic, the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system, is linked to something called the vagus nerve, VAGUS. And now we have something called polyvagal therapy. Polyvagal therapy is therapy that activates the vagus nerve. Now, I've been talking about this for years. I didn't call it polyvagal therapy. That's the new thing. Doctors catch on to things and then they start naming stuff, as we know. You just want to relax the body. If you're trying to wean yourself off of opioids or off of benzodiazepines or any kind of sedative, any kind of downer, we used to call them downers when I was growing up. If you're trying to wean yourself off a downer that you're addicted to, expect that your body's going to be hyped up when you're trying to get off of it. It's going to suck. So work on strategies for calming the body down. Activating the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in your body. It connects the brain to the gut and the heart and the lungs. The immune system reads the vagus nerve. The word vagus, by the way, means wanderer in Latin, and that's because the vagus nerve wanders all over the body to the various organs. It connects the brain to all the various organs, and when they were naming all the nerves, they saw that it kind of wandered. That's the name, the vagus nerve. I call it the rest and digest nerve. It activates the rest and digest nervous system. It's involved in controlling breathing actions, digestive function, heart rate, all of this, which can have a huge impact on your health and specifically on your health if you're trying to withdraw from drugs, withdraw from downers. We got to pay attention to how our body relaxes, or how our body can relax, how we can activate our vagus nerve, how we can increase vagal tonicity. Vagal tonicity or vasal activation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, relaxes your body if you're as you're dealing or after you're dealing with stress. There's lots of ways to do it. The best way to do it by far and away is what we talk about all the time on this program. The fastest way to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. If you're dealing with any kind of hyped up sympathetic nervous system symptomology, and most diseases are going to have an element of hyped up sympathetic symptomology, is SDR breathing. Slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. There are so many benefits to SDR breathing. It is literally a panacea. It's good for everything. Yet, it sounds kind of airy-fairy. Oh, I'm breathing. Are you serious? Can breathing really help me with my blood pressure, my immune system? Can it help me wean off of drugs, sedative drugs, opioid drugs? Yes, it can. It'll reduce anxiety. It'll help you sleep. It'll relieve stress. Always breathe from the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle that basically splits your body into the top and the bottom. And most of the time when we breathe, we don't activate the diaphragm. Most of us, including myself, I find this throughout the day, I'm breathing into my chest, into my upper chest. And then, if I pay attention, then I breathe into my diaphragm, and by breathing into my diaphragm, I mean my diaphragm goes down as I breathe in, and then up as I breathe out. It's instantly calming. It's instantly relaxing. Not only that, but it improves circulation. So not only does it relax you, but it also energizes you. If you think those are two mutually exclusive ideas, well, you don't understand how the body works. The body can be relaxed and energized at the same time. The kind of energy we get from the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight energy, that's not good energy. That's jittery energy. That's coffee energy. The kind of energy you want is the kind of energy where you just feel good, where you feel like doing stuff. That kind of energy is associated with what we call the zeta potential, the electrical energy that's generated in the blood as the blood is circulating, and the diaphragm acts like a pump. If you have heart disease, you have to sit on the couch and practice SDR breathing if you're serious about getting better. There's no drugs that will get you better if you have heart disease. I don't care how many statin drugs you take. That's not going to get you better. The cholesterol theory is lunacy. Compared to the idea of relaxing the body and doing your SDR breathing for cardiovascular health, the statin drug strategy, the statin drug mentality for dealing with heart disease is pure biochemical stupidity with a capital S. But SDR breathing, that's not only going to help your heart, that's going to help your vagus nerve. That's going to help you relax. That can help you get off your opioids. Most people take about anywhere from 10 to 15 breaths a minute. Try, it's really difficult to do, but try to just do maybe 5 or 6 breaths a minute. That would necessitate longer inhales and longer exhales. To do 5, let's say 6 breaths a minute, That would be 10 seconds for the breath, or for a complete cycle. That's not that much, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, but most people will find that hard to do. Try doubling it. Try taking 10 seconds inhale, 10 seconds exhale. That could be really hard until you get used to it. It takes practice to try to do it, and that's why most people don't spend the time to do it. If you have insomnia, it is the absolute best way to find yourself falling asleep. Most insomnia is involves anyway, an activated sympathetic nervous system. Oh yeah, and what is it that activates the sympathetic nervous system when you're lying in bed at night and you can't fall asleep? You're thinking. There's a major relationship between thoughts and the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system. By the way, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, those are together called the automatic nervous system, technically the autonomic nervous system. But you can call it the automatic nervous system because they work automatically. They work on their own. The automatic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system are linked to our brain, linked to our thoughts, I should say, linked to our thoughts and our emotions. And via this connection between thoughts and emotions and the autonomic nervous system, that is your evidence of the mind-body connection. Anybody who's out there and thinks that the mind-body connection is airy-fairy needs to understand the link between the mind, that is the emotions and the mentality, the psychic nature or the psychological nature, and the autonomic nervous system. Via the autonomic nervous system, the mind and the emotions are linked to the body. That's powerful. That's a powerful idea because that is a major point of control. There's no real ways that doctoring and medicine and the tools of the trade of the medical model can address our health challenges permanently and from a curative and reversal, not curative, but reversal perspective, but through thoughts and emotions, we can do it, not to mention SDR breathing. There's all kinds of ways. Do you know humming is a great strategy for activating the parasympathetic nervous system? Singing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Gregorian chants can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. For you guys who don't know, they used to have these, used to do these Catholic chants in the Middle Ages. They go to the churches and they call them Gregorian chants. They're really cool, actually. If you listen to them with headphones on, you'll find yourself relaxing. The Gregorian chants will activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Gargling can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. There's a really cool book called Why Isn't My Brain Working by a Dr. Dadis Kazarian, Kharrazian, Kharrazian, apostrophe S. Why isn't my brain working? Try gargling your water before you're swallowing it. It's also, by the way, a great cure for hiccups. Activating the parasympathetic nervous system is one of the ways you can cure hiccups. Hiccups are the manifestation of sympathetic activation. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Check out my websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products, truthnourishment.com for our shopping products, and then also truthtreatments.com for all our Truth Skin Health products. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. We will talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.